Hey there, Brady here with your daily tennis lesson. So we're looking at coaching styles this week. We got my buddy Ian from Essential Tennis back with us, and today we're going to look at volley technique. Okay, and first would just be, we come back to that idea that people have come out and said, yeah, but Brady, my coach said this. When it comes to volley grip, if any coach ever told you to volley in something other than continental, like get off the court, right?
I mean, I'm okay. Here's my yes, continental.
Yes.
For me, for sure. If somebody is okay with using the same grip on both sides, and it's maybe a little bit stronger or a little bit weaker continental, I'm not like super hardcore about it.
Okay.
As long as it works on both sides and it's comfortable and athletic on both sides, and it's not like this on the backhand and this on the forehand, then I'm okay with it. But for me, it's got to be at least in the ballpark. Yeah.
For sure. So we got Joel here again today. I just want to take a look at a couple of Joel's volleys before we get into, footwork on the volley and swing path. Let's just take a peek and see if he's naturally in continental. Good. Go one more here, Joel.
See a couple backhand volleys?
Yeah, go backhand, Joel. Good call.
Nice.
And Joel, you didn't switch that grip at all, correct?
Not at all.
Okay.
That's one of the first things I look for personally. It's such a common habit for people to have a backhand grip and a forehand grip, which is so hard in a fast exchange up at the net.
Totally agree. That would be why I just don't let people have a lot of wiggle room, if any at all, with the grip in volleys, because you just don't have enough time to play around and then make a good strike. So.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move it on to footwork. And this is where I think in the internet world of tennis coaching, you'll get, I think, a few more people falling where I do, which would be landing, kind of that leg after contact versus planting the foot and then making contact. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think in all tennis shots across the board, the more energy that you can get from the ground, the better, because it takes responsibility away from the arm and the hand to have to do the hitting of the ball.
Yep.
So if, the old school way of approaching it is like step across and punch is basically the old, phraseology. And so for decades, I feel like you would see like the stomp and then the punch and the stomp and
just
the
caveman
punch.
style.
Yeah, totally. And so what that does is it kills your momentum and kills your energy that you've created from the ground. When you make that stomp before contact, all of your flow of energy just kind of stops, and now your hand has to do all the work. So whenever possible, it's not always practical or possible in a fast exchange. I completely agree that the hit should happen just before that foot comes down so that we have some flow into the shot.
Great point that a ball coming in super quick might not even allow me a step or a transfer. I might just have to play a reflex volley. But in a perfect world with a ball coming in that allows me to time it well, I like your thought that you're trying to get ground force and come in landing after contact. So what I want Joel to do here, Joel, hit a couple where you plant.
Yeah, I don't even know what I do.
Okay, so I want you to actually put some thought into this. I want you to plant your lead step right before you make contact on a couple, and then I want you to try to make contact first and right after, then land.
This will be interesting to see him manage it.
So plant.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually like that.
Yeah.
That blends to my thought here and Ian's thought. Plant.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
So a little bit stiff, right, Joel?
I just feel like once I'm there,
just rigid. And if the ball's not right on your racket, it's tough, because if you don't have excellent hands and can manipulate the ball at the last second, you're locked into that one spot. Okay? So now you're going to set that forehand grip. Good. And you're going to land after contact.
That was a little before. That's still a little before, Joe.
Reach to contact.
Yeah, that's
There
closer.
it is.
That's closer.
Do that again. So if anything, even if you've said volleys are not your forte, you can at least feel yourself kind of falling into the ball where your body is in behind the shot versus things kind of separating, correct?
Absolutely. Totally.
Okay.
Good effort there. It's obviously not what you're used to doing.
It's never even thought of it.
Yeah.
Next point we want to get to here with volleys would just be racket path. I think there's too many people that are just too rigid about being direct behind the ball. I think there are plenty of times, especially if a ball comes in slow and I'm a little closer to the net, I might very well lengthen the path back, even above the ball slightly, and take a longer strike into it, albeit I'm not coming around my body. I'm never treating a volley with a ton of rotation. It's always going to feel more back to front. But the speed of the ball to me dictates that I either have time to go farther and come through more, or like we said, the opposite end would be something super fast where I only have time to go back slightly and forward slightly. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think the way you broke it up into different situational settings, where it's a little bit faster, a little bit more neutral or defensive, versus a little slower, a little bit higher, more offensive, is really key. I think across the board, when you look at world-class volleyers, you generally see a little bit of high to low to create a little bit of backspin.
Yep.
And to be able to absorb a little bit of energy, because those world-class players are receiving so much pace that they have to take a little bit off in order to control where the ball goes. Whereas your average athlete tends to be very square and very straight and very rigid.
Yep.
It fits in with like the step and punch, you know, kind of framework. And as a result, the only volleys they make are where they're already within arm's length from the net.
Exactly.
And you know, anybody can make those volleys. So in general, I think if you want to be effective anywhere on the court and be a good all-around volleyer, learning how to come down at least a little bit through contact and absorb a little bit of energy is super critical.
Yeah, just making sure not to confuse the idea where a coach might have told you, hey, don't swing on your volleys.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, even like I always use the analogy of a swing set. A swing set goes way back and way through, but it just stays on the same trajectory, right? So with a volley, I want to feel a lot of times that I'm actually making a swing, just not in a circular rotation.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think that's another one of those phrases that's been taken like to the nth degree, where people feel like there should be like no backswing is like another like big one. But that doesn't mean there shouldn't be freedom of movement of the racket to be able to direct the ball and also absorb a little bit of energy or pace.
So let's take a peek at Joel here. Mark, I'm going to have you tee up a couple balls that are pretty slow, where Joel, you're going to feel yourself or allow yourself a little longer take back and follow through. And then as pace comes in, I think you'll just naturally shorten up. Even a little farther back there, Joel. Let it come back there. Good.
Spending time with Joel all this last week, to me, this is the kind of the key thing for him that could really unlock a lot of potential.
Big time.
When he moves his racket a lot, what happens is he also clamps down with his hand and his racket, and he hasn't learned how to relax his hand yet.
Right. And that, you know, we could talk kind of technique and volley motion all day, but it really comes down, you hear the greatest volleyers in the world always had just a great set of hands.
Right, yeah.
So it's making sure to know that, you know, yes, you're in this path behind the ball. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short, but being able to play around with grip pressure to me is huge. All right, so look, that was an awesome week. I do want to ask you one more question on your book for all of those viewers out there. You know, there is a ton of books on the shelves.
Yeah.
You know, with tennis as the topic. Why are these people needing to run and go get yours?
Well, if you look back over the ones that are most well known, like your Inner Game of Tennis or Brad Gilbert's book, like incredible books, but they tend to kind of specialize. And I would say tennis books in general tend to specialize. There's some great books on doubles tactics, as an example, or like biomechanics. And what we've done with Essential Tennis is tried to be very holistic in our approach and arm your average tennis player with everything they need, from mechanics and the kinetic chain to tactics and patterns and playing percentage tennis, to the mental game and mental toughness and being able to play your best under high stress, you know, situations. So what we're trying to do here with Essential Tennis is be kind of the go-to resource that people are going to refer back to no matter what's tripping them up, so that they can self-guide through whatever level they are up to the next one.
Awesome. You know, I've had a couple of my clients found out you're here this week. You're so well did.
Thank you.
I'd highly suggest all of you out there, go get yourself a copy of Essential Tennis. Ian, thank you so much for being here this week.
My pleasure.
All right, and that's all we got for you this week at DTL. Please click like below this video, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. As well as check down below me in the description of this video. You're going to find the links to a few videos of Ian's and a few of Mark's and my own. I think you'll find those really helpful as well. All right, so until next time, be well. We'll see you soon at Daily Tennis Lesson.